Right, P6, let's look at workbook, Cool Kids 6, workbook, page 6 and page 7. And these pages look at two questions. They look at the question how often, which means how many times, and the answer to how often will usually be a number. How many times? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And the question when. And the answer to when will usually be a time, either a day or a part of a day, like morning or afternoon or evening or weekend. Okay, so let's start out by looking at the question how often, which is our workbook, page 6. Now, we're talking about a boy here, Danny, and when we do the how often question, it's going to look like this. We start with the question how often, and then does, and then our subject, which is Danny, a boy, he, and then our base verb, eat, visit, go, buy, or ride. Because the subject is Danny, a boy, he, one boy, he, then here we have to use does. So it's going to be how often, does, subject, and base verb. So let's go in and look at the questions here, shall we? Okay, how often, does, subject, and base verb. So number 1, big letter H must be the first word in the sentence. How often does, subject Danny, base verb eat? How often does Danny eat hamburgers? Let's look at number 2. How often does Danny, he, base verb, visit? How often does he visit museums? Question mark. Number 3, same again. How often does, who are we talking about? The subject, he, base verb, go. How often does he go to the movies? And there you've got 3 more. Same again, look. How often does, subject, who we're talking about, he, base verb, buy. Okay, and then at the bottom here, look, you can just check you can understand. So, how often does Danny ride a bike? Okay, how often does Danny eat burgers? How often does Danny eat ice cream? 3 times a month. Ride a bike 3 times a week. Question how often? The answer is going to be a number. Okay, let's move on then to page 7. Okay, and here look, we've got 2 people, Paul the boy, Maria the girl. And is the question how often, or is the question when? Well, if it's how often question, the answer will be a number. If it's a when question, the answer will be a time. Well, let's look. Paul and Maria do their homework. They always do their homework in the afternoon. Afternoon is part of a day. So, question must be when. When? Number 2, do they go camping? Twice, 2 times. Answer is a number, so the question must be how often. Number 3, does Maria take the dog for a walk? She sometimes takes the dog for a walk in the morning. Morning is part of a day, so the question must be when. So we can write in when there. So there's 7 questions there. You have to decide how often or when. Okay, so that's it, your workbook. Page 6, page 7. Use this to help you write the questions. And then how often will be a number, when the answer is going to be a day or a time of the day.